I ain't the kind to wear a tie. Button up from 9 to 5. I tried that life but said goodbye. I'm not always polite, but I get the job done. Who says that work can never be fun? I'm simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional. Yeah. Unprofessional. Yeah. I'm unprofessional.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I'm your host, Webby. Joining me tonight, we got Devin.
Hey everybody, what's going on? How are you?
Devin,
Webby.
all through the season while it was being aired, you've been after me to watch this show.
Uh-huh.
It finally got released now that the season was over on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I did good. You said, hey, we're doing SU on Legacies this week. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. I was done by like Monday.
That's just a testament to the show, how good it is.
It really was. So tonight we're going to be talking about Legacies, which, if I'm not mistaken, is essentially it's the third part of a book series, correct?
I mean, yeah, I don't think Legacies is a part of the book series. I don't think Originals is really a part of the book series.
All right. Well, I know it's based off
the originals.
Of the
The
Vampire
originals didn't really
Diaries.
exist in the book. Kind of, they did and they didn't. They were different.
Now, have you read the book?
No, I haven't read the books.
All right.
All the way. I just know of the books and like know of what's in the books. Like if I remember correctly, the originals weren't really the originals. Like they're like there was like 8 of them, I think, in the original book, and then there were each one like they kind of like combined them together to make the family of the originals in this one. And they were like out and out dicks in the books, like across the board. Like,
Well, I mean,
really
even in the shows, there was.
No, but I mean, there wasn't really any like gray area there. They were just out and out dicks.
Yeah. Well, even in the show, they had their moments, and it was justified. They're old as fuck. Anyway, Legacies is the third adaptation, at least for TV. The first one being the Vampire Diaries. The originals came off of that, and then Legacies came off of the originals, essentially.
Facts.
Now, the premise of Legacies is essentially it follows Hope Michelson, which is the daughter of Klaus Michelson and Haley Marshall. And for people who have not listened to our previous episode, where I think we did one on the Vampire Diaries / the originals, might have even been 2 different episodes. I don't remember. Klaus Michelson was what was known as an original, but he was a special original because he was a hybrid. He was both a werewolf and a vampire. Haley Marshall was a werewolf, and I don't remember specifically why Hope got the magic part in her from the originals.
I think it was just what it was. She was the first tribrid.
Oh, all right. So yeah, essentially, Klaus Michelson, somebody who was not supposed to be able to breed and reproduce, was able to do so with a werewolf. And when they had Hope, which that was pretty much the premise of the originals, was just them doing everything to keep Hope safe. Essentially is what that boiled down to. Hope was born a tribrid, is what they call it, yeah. Which she's part werewolf, she's part witch, and she's part vampire.
She everything.
She everything.
Everything. You're crazy.
Now, going into this, I hadn't read anything about this. All I knew was from the previous, the originals and the Vampire Diaries shows, which she did make an appearance in the originals. but we're still, as Hope Michelson, we don't really know too much about her, so that's why this story follows kind of her story. This takes place. Legacies starts off, and it takes place 2 years after the events of the originals. So Hope is technically in this time period. She's like 17, 18, something like that. And she attends the Salvatore School for the Young and Gifted. Now, for those of you out there who are X-Men fans, you're going to be like, wow, that sounds awfully close to like the Xavier Institute for the Young and Gifted. It's the same exact fucking thing. It is the X-Mansion, a school for gifted mutants. Okay? Essentially, if you're a supernatural, you can go to this school.
He's not wrong. Like, I want to say he is, but he's not wrong.
Yeah. Essentially, the premise of the school is it's a school that was originally started by Alaric. They took up residence in Stefan and Damien's old house, essentially, and turned that into a school because Alaric's twins, he wanted a safer environment for them to grow up and learn their powers, and so he turned it into a school for supernatural beings so they could learn and control their abilities and their impulses. So that way there'd be less rippers in the vampire community, less people going out there just feeding off of whoever they wanted, and less vampire deaths via werewolf changes, etc., etc. You got to watch all the shows to understand most of those references. I will say this, Devin, I was very happy with some of like the cameos that I got to see, as small as they were, like the sheriff Matt.
Yeah,
I was really happy to see him. I was just like, oh yeah, that's right. We ended with you as being a cop. We started this whole thing. You were just the fucking high school student. We got to see Jeremy. I think that was his name.
I love how he just came in and like murdered people.
Yeah. He just like the two people woke up and there's a guy pinned to a tree with an arrow, and he's just like, yeah, it's a werewolf hunter. Don't worry, I'm here to save you guys. It's like, yep. Jesus Christ. Because last time we really saw Jeremy, he was essentially training to be a hunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's now a hunter.
He's a hunter, but he also, I think he said he was he's still a hunter. He mostly lives a normal life, but he does favors for Alaric occasionally.
Right. So I guess the main characters in Legacies, and correct me if I'm wrong, it essentially boils down, it does revolve around Hope Michelson. She's the main character. It also revolves around this Landon Kirby, for the most part, which we will introduce. He gets introduced in the first episode. And then essentially the twins, Alaric's twins, Lizzie Saltzman and Josie, right? Is her name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Josie. Lizzie and Josie? Yeah.
I think it's
those
are
Joe.
I forgot where Joe. Her full name. I'm trying to think what her full name is. I don't think it's Josephine, but
Josette.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's correct.
Yeah.
All right.
So I would say that those are really your main characters, like your predominant characters, along with Alaric. But yeah, so we find out in this school, not many people like Hope. Hope's kind of a recluse, I guess. She's a shut-in.
She's a loner.
Yeah, she keeps everybody at arm's length. And then they save essentially this guy Raphael. I just call him Ralph.
Ralphie.
Ralphie.
Oh, Ralph. I mean, it's called him Ralph. Most people call him Ralph on the show.
Yeah.
Raphael, Ralph.
Essentially, we see him. He's turning, or it's like a full moon, and he's going to go through the process of turning. And his parents brought him to a church, and they were trying to exorcise him. And then essentially Alaric and Hope bust into the church, and Hope covers the fucking priest's mouth up with skin, which is gross.
She took it from Constantine.
I was gonna say I always
And the
hate.
Matrix.
I always hate when people do that in movies because it's like, there's no mouth.
I mean, it's
now.
not. I mean, it's not hard. You just got to recut her mouth open.
Yeah, I know, but that's still. Anyway, that brings up a whole new list of fucking weird, gross
Nightmare
things.
fuel stuff.
Yep. Then they pin him down. They bring him back to the school along with his brother, and I forget if Landon I think like runs off first before being told he can't really stay there.
No. He they send him away, and then eventually he does come back, and then they send him to what you call it. I can't think right now. They bring him with them because he saw everything that happened, and then yeah.
Oh, that's right. He pretends to be compelled.
Right.
At first. Because they try to compel him, it doesn't work, so then they lock him up, and they figure, okay, well, sometimes, if he's been drinking the town water, sometimes, people in the town put vervain in their water, and so they figured, oh, well, if vervain's in his system, he can't be compelled, so they're going to lock him up for 24 hours and let the vervain leave his system. Then they'll just compel him again. Well, he got wise to their shit, and he didn't want to forget everything. And for whatever reason, they don't explain right off the bat. And this is where I started messaging you, and I was flipping out. Like, first fucking episode, Devin. Like, I'm already... It's funny how every time you tell me, hey, you really need to watch these things, and then when I do, I just constantly Facebook text you.
Which is fine. I mean, when Netflix first came out and they were doing the online thing, there was a website that would allow you to log in and queue up, like, enter in a Netflix code and, like, do, like, Discord kind of or Skype with a Netflix movie on there, and you could, like, watch together and, like, react to each other. I used to miss doing that. I did it with a couple of friends. It was fun. So you could, like, watch a movie and, like, react, but it was, like, on one screen, and you had, like, the movie was, like, 3/4 of the screen, and on the side you just had, like, who all was on the call.
I want us to watch a movie together, and, like, we'll stream it at some point, like, our reactions to watching these movies and, like, our little side comments while watching a movie. But we gotta find a movie that we can both watch that's
Blazing Saddles.
decent. I would fucking love to watch that movie again. I love Blazing Saddles.
I love Blazing Saddles. Couldn't be made today, but I love that movie. I love that movie.
I still
so much.
personally think they should put their foot down and remake it today.
I mean, I don't want to remake it, though. It's so good.
That's true. Some things should just be left alone.
Like, it's so good.
So essentially, they bring Landon back in, and they have one of my favorite characters, MG. They have MG compel him again, and Landon plays along with it, and then they set him back loose in the wild, hoping that he's compelled. And then, mind you, this is all the first fucking episode. They realize that this knife that Landon was looking at prior had been stolen. And then Hope decides she's going to do like a scrying spell, but it's black magic. And they don't teach black magic or allow black magic at this school because it's like a defensive school or some crazy shit. But she gets some help and she does it anyway. And she sees Landon on this bus pull the knife out from his jacket. The knife starts to glow red. And then they end the scene with this fucking bus filled with all these charred corpses. And then they end the fucking episode. I was like, what the actual fuck is happening right now? Because I like Landon. I didn't want him to be a bad guy. I was hoping he was a supernatural. But at this point, you figure, was he compelled? And supernaturals can't be compelled. Well, unless you're an original, I guess. Now that brings up a good fucking point. Can Hope compel other people, other supernaturals? Being a tribrid?
No.
But she's immortal, correct? Like, her blood can heal werewolf bites because she has Klaus's blood in her.
Right. So her blood can heal werewolf bites.
So she can do things that other people can't, but she can't compel. I don't think I saw her use any of her vampire shit.
Well, she's not a vampire.
I thought she was. I thought she was part vampire, witch, and werewolf.
This is the fucked up thing about Hope, though, right?
I'm lost. You're blowing my mind right now, Devin.
Okay, so as of Hope is still alive, she's living. So right now, she's just a vampire.
Oh, she hasn't.
She's just a werewolf, but her blood can make hybrids and things like that. But she has vampiric blood. Her blood can heal like a vampire, and she can make hybrids. But she's not an actual vampire. Like, she doesn't need to drink blood. She doesn't need to, she doesn't get vampire speed and all that other stuff. However, if she dies in a way that wouldn't also kill a hybrid vampire, she will come back as a hybrid.
So, like, someone just snapped her neck.
If someone just snapped her neck, she would come back as a hybrid because she would die with hybrid blood in her body.
Now, why is she able to be a werewolf? She's killed
because she's alive. She's living. She's killed. She. You saw it in the episode in the originals.
In the originals,
she accidentally killed that dude.
Yeah,
that dude by accident.
That's right. I forgot about it. Because in this lore, listeners, if you're a werewolf, you trigger they call it a curse. Depends on who you ask, I guess. You trigger your werewolf curse if you kill another person. If you take someone's life. If you have the werewolf curse dormant in you and you kill someone, whether by accident or on purpose, that triggers your werewolf curse, and then you start to turn and get all these fucking werewolf powers. That's why, and Hope can turn at will, which a lot of vampires can't do because that's part of her tribe
werewolves, but yeah,
because hybrids were able to do that.
Yes.
Okay, that's why you didn't see her do any fucking vampire shit. That blew my mind. Because the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, why is she not like running around super speed? She's a tribrid, and then you telling me that makes sense. She's still alive. All she needs to do is die. Just someone snap her neck, then she'll be even more powerful. That's all.
Well, yes and no, because if she dies, she loses her witch ability. She loses her witch abilities because dead people can't be witches.
But how do you know she's not super special and she could?
Well, because originals can't be born; they're made. As far as we know, from the lore we know, if she died, she would just be a regular, ordinary hybrid vampire.
Right.
So, she would be the strongest vampire in the show because we haven't seen any vampires. We haven't seen any hybrids in the show, like true hybrids in the show.
Right.
So she'd be a much stronger. Because she would get stronger. She would still be able to... She would have like a venomous bite to other vampires. She would be able to get stronger as she ages. Right. But she would lose her witch abilities. Also, too, the reason why she can transform at will is because she's a crescent.
That's true. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, man. All because of her hot mama.
Yep.
I don't remember.
Honestly, seeing her, what's her name? Fuck, I can't think of her name right now. However, Haley and Rebecca were both on Rebecca were both on an Australian show about mermaids. I kind of want to go watch that show now.
Let's do it. Next SU episode, mermaid fucking shows.
Well, it's like it was a lot of season. It was a lot. Let me see. Hold on a second. Phoebe Tonkin. That's her name.
What is it?
Phoebe Tonkin. That was her name.
That was the one who played Haley?
Yeah, her name is Phoebe Tonkin. She played an H2O Just Add Water for 4 years?
Jesus. 4 years. 4 years, huh?
2006 to 2010. It was
Claire Holt. That's who played Rebecca.
Yep. The main cast was Phoebe Tonkin, Claire Holt, and Karima Hinnon.
All right.
I don't know who that is. But it's an Australian dramatic fantasy television show.
Sure.
It's Australian. We should go watch it, Webby.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm down.
So that was all episode 1. We're not going to do an episode by episode breakdown, but I'm going to do some of my holy shit moments. Episode fucking 2. I wish I could scroll back in our fucking chat log, but I mean that was several days ago. So they go hunting down for.
Episode 2 opens up with them investigating the bus, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're hunting down Landon. It's Alaric, Hope, and they brought Raph along because Raph is Landon's foster brother. Okay. Now they're tracking them down along this highway. They are running through the woods and they find this lady who smelled of smoke and who was like, she looked like she was like in shock, I guess would be the right word. And Alaric said, hey, you two go on, find Landon, blah, 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 don't engage, because they didn't know what this knife did, and Alaric was going to get this lady to the police. Okay? Well, the other two found Landon. They engaged. They start questioning him. Hope's pissed. Landon's like telling her the truth, but saying he doesn't know why or how he took the knife. He doesn't remember. He didn't fucking burn all the people on the bus. It was some lady. And then they cut back to Alaric, and this lady, he's calling somebody on a phone. This lady takes this phone. And then then she takes his watch, and Alaric's just standing there in the woods like dumbfounded. Like, are you really taking all my shit right now? That's my stuff. And then she looks at him, and like she starts breathing, and then she breathes fire at him. Motherfucker. We find out real quick this bitch is a dragon. Okay, at first they thought it was a pyromancer, which is just a fire-breathing witch. Okay? Nope,
not nearly as cool.
Not the case, folks. Because I remember I messaged Devin, I was like, fucking pyromancers, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like 3 minutes later, I messaged Devin again going, a goddamn dragon?
And again, he's just telling God who to damn. He's telling God to damn all the dragons.
Oh, yeah, do it. All the dragons, people. Come on. I'm trying to find that part. I talked to you so much about this fucking show.
It's a good show to talk about, so I'm cool with it.
Where is it? Oh, that we were talking about the necromancer, which I do want to mention. I had crazy ass hair. No, I'm trying to scroll up. No, I've gone too far. I've gone too far, people.
He's gone too far. It's all over, peeps.
Okay. Started Legacies now. Now that's on Netflix. My first message to Devin was, man, right off the bat, this Landon fella just gets tossed into a world of shit.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Oh, shit.
He does. That happens.
And then I said, oh, man, Landon's immune to mind tricks. I'm hoping it's not just Vervain or whatnot. I hope there's something different about him.
Yeah, I was like, I think I just laughed at you. I was like,
yeah. And then it showed the knife, and then it showed the bus full of fucking burn victims. And I said, what the fuck is this knife? And then I said, he just ashed a busload of peeps, and now Hope hates him. Think I have a shot with her now? Dude, Hope is hot in this show. I'm not going to lie.
yes, you're not wrong.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Before they left, Hope found this death spell in her fucking grimoire, and she ripped it out of the book and took it with her. And I messaged Devin specifically because you always see witches do this, okay? Why witches gotta always be ripping pages out of spell books? Shit costs money, and these things are old-ass tomes. Why you just be ripping pages needlessly?
Not only does it cost money, not only does it actually cost money, it costs, you're getting rid of resources.
Yeah. You know,
like
you're
getting rid of something that you may need later.
You have this grimoire that's God knows how old, because some of these books are ancient, and witches just always be ripping pages out of it. Like, oh, this spell looks interesting. Rip. Witches. Then I go on to say how hot Hope is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. I said fucking pyromancers, and you just replied with ... Yep. And then I immediately, less than 2 minutes later, say, she is a fucking dragon? What?
I was like, yeah, about right.
My next... So, they find out she's a dragon. They stab her in the heart, right? She's dead. Then I write to Devin, well, I thought she was dead. Now she's a dragon. And listeners, what I mean by dragon is this lady was dead on the ground, and then in the background when they're having a conversation about stabbing this chick in the heart,
She stood up.
she stood up as a dragon, okay, like full on winged beast, flew up into the air, fire breathed everybody, and I think it was Alaric who ended up getting the killing blow on her. Hope was using like the death spell on her to like stun her, knocked her out of dragon form, and then was like had her down on the ground and was gonna kill her, but you could sense the hesitation in Hope. Like she was just more so wondering like what's so important about this knife? Like why do you want it? And then Alaric just kind of comes over and like stabs her in the neck. And then that episode ends essentially with Alaric. Everybody's back at the school. They brought Landon back. Alaric and Hope went back to the school. Landon and Raph decided they just jetted. They took off. They were going to be on their own. They went camping. And Alaric's talking to, what was his side dude's name? I don't remember. Darius or something like that. And they're at the front gate, and he's like, I don't know what to do, man. Now there's dragons, and I don't, all these things that I didn't think really existed. And then they walked away. My next message to Devin: fucking gargoyles now. Because the statue, which I don't remember seeing it but there before, but I hadn't really paid much attention, and it had way too much detail. I was like, really? Something's going to happen with this? They zoomed in, its eyes opened. I was like, God damn gargoyles. Your response to my gargoyle was Buffy.
Yep.
And then, like, I there must have been some time jump here where I just didn't message you for a while because my next response was gargoyle down, fucking Gorilla Grodd, because that was when MG was having his dreams about all of his comic books. So, and he was being chased by Gorilla Grodd. Oh yeah, the fuck this show, fuck this episode. Yeah, because there's like a spider thing. We find out throughout the show that the reason the knife is so important, monsters are constantly coming after this knife now. All of these monsters that were quote unquote lost to history are searching for this blade. Okay. So throughout this time, Jeremy shows up. He makes a cameo in the woods because Landon and Raph decide that they're going to use Raph's werewolf powers to try to make some money, but they start using them in public, which draws the ire of some werewolf hunters. Jeremy saves them. Then they bring them back to the school. Then they realize Landon's not really safe there, so they kind of vote him out. And Hope sends him to New Orleans with a lead to go try to find his birth mom, his biological mother. This leads to a whole, there's like a couple episodes, I want to say like an episode or two where Landon's just not in it. And then Landon all of a sudden comes back, they have a bracelet. They go and try to save him because Landon's in trouble. Founds his birth mom and finds out that she had a what is it called? Where she gets pregnant without having sex.
Yeah, I was talking about
Miraculous conception or
it's
something like
conception.
that.
Yeah.
Essentially, she jumped into this pit of despair, just this black tarry pit, came out pregnant, and then had landed.
Mm-hmm.
And then essentially we find out that the knife is a key that unlocks the potential of this black tarry pit. There are 3 keys. And the monsters are drawn to these 3 keys because we find out that this black tarry pit was a golem at one point who consumed all these creatures. One of which was the necromancer. Devin, hands down, probably my favorite monster in this show. My favorite quote unquote bad guy. We see him after this scene with a bunch of zombies and stuff, and it's kind of an ordeal this episode. And then at the very tail end of the episode, again, it's Alaric talking with I want to say his name's Darius. That doesn't sound right. Dorian. Dorian's kind of like his like an additional teacher and research assistant. Dorian helps Alaric with all of his research on how to get rid of different monsters and how to do different things. So they're out there like filling in graves and stuff. And all of a sudden, this dude in the woods just pronounces himself. He's like, "I am the necromancer." They're just like, "Who the fuck? What? What are you?"
It's funny because like she kind of like just one-shot him with the shovel.
Oh, Alaric, yeah, hits him right in the head with a shovel, knocks his sorry ass out. One shot. And this guy looks undead. Like
I thought he was going to be like comic relief. I honestly did, and then I realized that was not the case. Like he was not.
He still was.
He was, but I mean, he was a much more serious threat than he originally was, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I thought this was just another one of the stray zombies that had a personality at first, and then like they just kill him right off the bat. But yeah, he definitely becomes more
sinister.
Yeah. But dude, hands down, one of my favorite people. I'm making a D&D character, an NPC based off of this guy.
You already have her.
I don't want her to have that personality. Liliana already has a personality. I'll make one of her underlings have that personality. Just this like very like flaunting, like I am the necromancer. And they'll be like, "Who the fuck are you?" It's like I'm the bringer of Hades and all this other mysterious bullshit. And everyone will just be like, "Yeah, whatever, dude." Oh man, I fucking loved that guy so much.
He was great. He was a great character. Like honestly, like
he really
10 out of
fucked
10.
Hope
Like
up. I'm not gonna lie, he really fucked Hope up.
Yes, he did.
And that's saying something because Hope's super powerful. We talked about that. But like he like locked Hope in his mind vault while he went and did some shit, which was crazy. So kind of bouncing off of that. Fuck, I don't remember what happened after the necromancer, man. So they. What did they do with Landon? They ended up they put Landon through a bunch of tests to make sure he wasn't supernatural.
Yes.
Because wherever Landon was, monsters seemed to be after him and after things around him. And like they make the joke about it. He is like a monster magnet this whole fucking season. Like he's always in the wrong place.
It's true.
And so they do all sorts of tests to test for super strength, for super speed, agility, all sorts of crazy shit. They did blood tests on him. Now, that was the interesting one for me. All the other tests, he failed miserably. The blood test one, when Hope was talking to the nurse slash therapist lady, she was saying, yeah, it came back with nothing. It was, no magic at all whatsoever. And the nurse lady made a point to mention that was odd because even mortals have some trace of something in their blood from a previous lineage. Even if it's like a 0.01% thing, it's there. This Landon guy has nothing. His blood is essentially void of this. So at this point, I had been messaging you. I'm like, okay, so there's something up with this Landon guy. Devin, I want to know. I won't give away exactly what he was yet, and if you haven't gotten to by now, spoiler alert. I should put that at the beginning. Listen, anytime we do a review, I'm gonna write review in the title. Just know we fucking talk about the goddamn show. So go watch it. If you don't want spoilers, don't listen right now. Knowing what he was, because you knew what he was way before I did. How hard was it for you to not tell me? Was it how difficult at all, or were you just getting a kick out of all of the various fucking things?
No, it was definitely difficult. I was just like, because I even told you, I'm like, man, you're gonna like what he is, because like I know you like that. I know that's kind of your creature. That's your jam.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're gonna like this.
All right. So I mean, moving past that part now, they determine he's not special. Do they kick him out again at that point? I don't remember now.
They were going. Yeah, I think that's when they voted him out, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Like that's when they officially voted him out.
Yeah. Yeah, because he got hit a few times, or Hope made him use that lying orb thing, the truth or lie orb. And he said that he felt safe there, which was a lie, apparently. But I don't remember where he went after that. When they voted him out, I know at some point he got taken, but I don't remember if that was after they voted him out and brought him back. I don't find. Maybe no. Because that was when they went down. Maybe that was when they voted him out, and then they sent him down to New Orleans to do all that mother finding thing. Because then on the way back, Alaric's like, "Yeah, hey, listen, we're going home. Period." Anyway, I don't remember the series of events here, people. There's a lot of shit going on in this show. Let's see. Necromancer, touched on him. The mud, we found out that the black pit was really a golem, which we do find out when he gets taken. Landon gets kidnapped again, folks, just FYI.
Landon is the biggest damsel in distress in the show.
It's true.
My favorite, he has one of my favorite lines in the show, though.
What's that?
It comes at the very end when he's getting his ass kicked by the Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh no, this is how Phoenix combat looks."
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, actually, before he gets kidnapped, there was an episode. People were leaving for like holiday or whatever. I don't remember which break it was, spring break or whatever. But people were going back. They were allowed to go back and spend time with their families and whatnot. It was right around the episode, I think, where they had to go and fight the mummy. But Landon, Raph, and MG all decided to go and see MG's parents, and MG's dad's running for governor and didn't want to see him because he's super religious and wouldn't accept him as a vampire. Long story short, MG kills Landon, folks.
He does.
Fucks him up real hard in the woods.
MG becomes a ripper and kills Landon.
Yeah, tears his fucking throat out. And then Raph breaks loose and bites MG, and MG's fucking on the verge of death until Hope comes and gives MG some of her blood that heals him from the werewolf bite while staring at or while knowing that he just killed Landon, right? So this was the big reveal for Landon because they find Landon's body. They go off. They're gonna go look for Landon's body. Then they're gonna give him a proper burial. They find Landon's body, and MG comes up, and they're all just kind of like looking at him. And at this point, he feels bad about everything. And then Landon's body begins smoking, and Hope tries to like do like a wind thing to blow, like to put it out, but it doesn't work. And then he bursts into flames, and then the flames die out, and there's just an ash pile there. And then Landon breaks through and comes out of the ash pile, and we find out that Landon is a phoenix. So, apparently, in this lore slash world, as of right now, we can safely say that the Phoenix's only real power is that when you die, you come back to life. So essentially, he's immortal, but he has no other fucking cool powers. He's not super fast, he's not super strong, he can't fly, he can't burn shit, he can't do anything right now except for die like a human and then come back. Right? Is that pretty much where we're at this point?
That's pretty much where we're at this point. Yep.
Well, with the exception of Phoenix combat, that's pretty much where we're at the end of the season. He does nothing remarkable except die.
Yep.
And we find out that the fucking crazy, creepy guy who's working for the Triad Industries is really working against Triad Industries because he's also a Mudman, and he's Landon's brother. And he wants to raise the Mudman, and Landon is supposed to be the vessel for him. If I was hearing that correctly. Regardless, there's a headless horseman fight that's great. But honestly, out of that season finale episode, like we talked a little bit about it, how it was kind of underwhelming for me. I thought the coolest part of that whole season finale episode was when Hope confronted the crazy dude, Landon's brother, and did the mimic spell on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then essentially forced him to jump with her into the Black Tari pit. And he's just like, how are you fucking doing this? And she's like, second grade fucking magic. This is really low level bullshit. And, follow the leader. Let's go. We're jumping. And then Landon wakes up because Hope kills him. Snaps his neck. She's just like, I'm glad you're a phoenix, snap. Just leaves him there. Jumps into this pit. Now, everything that goes in this pit, people forget about. And people slowly start forgetting about Hope. And then when Landon wakes up, he looks down, and there's no longer a Black Tari pit. It's just a big, empty hole in the ground, I guess. It's not even really a hole. It looks like somebody was digging out like a fucking in-ground swimming pool, almost. And that's where the fucking series finale ends up leaving you off, pretty much. So, I mean, we didn't talk a lot about any of the other stuff that happened, but series finale I want to talk about real quick with you, Devin. It was a good show. I liked the show overall. I would recommend the show overall. I would probably rewatch the show again. But like some series finales, they leave you off anticipating and wanting to watch the next season now. Like, when's it come out? It leaves you looking forward to it almost. This season finale, it kind of left me with that feeling like, I can wait until it's on Netflix again to watch it. Like, Yeah, I'm curious as to what happens with Hope because Hope doesn't die, even though she jumped in this black tarry pit because the show revolves around her.
Wouldn't that be fucked up if she just did die though, and then we just had
Like
like
season
the
2, she's
Salvatore
just
school
not there.
is just the Salvatore school.
Yeah, no, that would really be a fucking that'd be a fucking a trip for the season 2. Like,
Just
hey, surprise, Hope's not here.
She's dead.
She gone.
I mean, because it's funny.
She jumped in this black pit. What do you
not only is
think
she
happens?
not there, nobody remembers her.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that'd be such a fucking kick in the pants. They should have done that. I think. Ah man, when does season 2 start? Anyway, I think I actually have that. I think I have that pulled up.
Doesn't it?
Season 2, air date, cast, trailer, plot. Nope, I don't want any of this. What is? I'm sorry for all
territory.
all of the people can hear what I'm hearing right now. It's like an ad. No, I don't want any of this.
Everyone.
All right. I don't know. I had it pulled up. Then something else popped up on my screen and it started playing, I think, the preview for next season. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
I mean, it could have been worse. Porn could have started playing.
I wouldn't put it past my computer. With all the shit on my computer, really? Pfft, come on. I don't have a date for you, folks. I don't know when the second season starts.
It just ended, so I mean, kind of do the math there.
Yeah, it'll probably be next. Well, I mean, it depends if it's going to be a longer season, or if they're going to stick with the 16 episode seasons.
No, this was just like the first season trial run. I think they did a full order. I think they're going to do a full order anyway for the next season.
Well, if that's the case, then you're probably looking at the same with all like the other shows. They'll probably start in the fall, end in the spring. Maybe something like that, right?
Probably, yeah. Around there.
Man, I really do want to just see them like, yeah, no Hope. Who's Hope? Like, no one's even going to mention her. Like you said, everyone forgot.
Yeah, they can bring her back in like the third season, but just like the whole second season, just give up the impression that she's dead, like she's just gone.
Like she gone. That's so fucked up.
She looks dope.
Let's talk about a couple of the other characters real quick. We did mention like some of the main characters. Like we have Josie and Lizzie Saltzman, who are Alaric's daughters. They are Gemini twins.
A question when you get done with this.
All right. So they are Gemini twins. Their big thing, they're special types of magicians. They come from a special coven. They siphon magic from other objects. That's how they acquire their magic powers, essentially. Like, they don't siphon a power from something and then they have that power. They siphon the energy from things to be able to cast spells. So a lot of the times throughout the season, what you see is whenever they're around Hope and they need to do, a relatively larger spell, they usually join hands with Hope and siphon power off of her because she's essentially she's a special witch and she's like an endless battery for them, right?
That, and also too, the house, usually they'll siphon from the house.
Yep. So something we find out with them, Lizzie kind of shits on her sister a lot. Like they love each other, they care for each other, they look out for each other, but Lizzie's like I'm the face of the family, and like she has the nervous breakdowns and stuff, and Josie's just there to put her all back together all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we did find out like that whole dynamic shifts kind of throughout the season a little bit, especially towards the end. But then we find out that there's a thing called the merge, which anybody who watched the Vampire Diaries already knows about the merge. When the Gemini twins reach 22, which in the first season here, they just had their 16th birthday. So they still have a few years yet to go. But when they hit their 22nd birthday, they do something called the merge, where one sister, it's like a battle of wills, where one sister essentially absorbs the other. And whichever dominant sister comes out on top is essentially the coven leader for the Gemini coven. which is kind of fucked up because there's no longer a Gemini coven. It's literally just the two sisters if I remember correctly.
No, I think the Geminis are out there. They're just
No. In the Vampire Diaries, the crazy loco brother fucking killed all the Geminis.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then either he's dead now or he's in that fucking other weird fucking world where he got locked away before. I don't remember how he left. But he fucking murked everybody. Like, it was a systematic slaughtering. Like, that guy was insane. I loved that character. But yeah, if I remember correctly, it's Lizzie and Josie are the only two Geminis left. So really, when the merge happens, it's only gonna be one person running the Gemini Covenant of one. So that's essentially the sisters. Then there's MG. It's Milton Greasley. He's one of my favorite characters in this show. He's extremely charismatic. He's a comic book nerd. He's got really cool ass fucking dance moves, Devin. I don't know if you saw him dance at that Sweet 16 birthday.
I did.
And Raph just fucking cut him at the end of it. He's just like, yo, I'll take it from here. If I was MG, I would have been like, bitch, please, step back. I got this all night. I'll continue getting this all night. But, that's not how MG works. He is what he is. But he's a vampire. Raph, we've talked about before, is Landon's foster brother. He's a werewolf. Alaric has a confused past. At this point, he is human.
Yes.
Alaric originally came in the Vampire Diaries as a human looking for answers. Then you found out that he was a hunter, or at least knew enough about vampires.
No, he was a hunter. He was a hunter for sure.
Okay. Then he got turned into a vampire.
But then again, I think everybody in Vampire Diaries at one point or another got turned to a vampire.
True.
At one point or another.
But Alaric was then cured of vampirism.
Also true.
By dying. And then he became human again. So the one thing Alaric really hasn't ever been, he hasn't been a werewolf or a witch.
True story.
But he's been through a lot. Okay, Alaric's one of my favorite characters too. Let's see, who am I missing? That's Raph, that's MG, that's Lizzie, Josie, Landon, Hope. There's Dorian, he's like the librarian at the Salvatore School. There's Penelope Park, who plays Josie's ex-girlfriend, who like...
I love Penelope, she's dope.
Yeah, me too. And she fucking hates Lizzie, which, you think Penelope's just being a raging bitch the whole show until near the end, when you realize why she's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything just kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's Emma Tigg. She's the guidance counselor / therapist.
Mm-hmm.
There's Caleb. He's the vampire who drinks human blood. He teaches MG a few things. He falls in hard, like him and MG become BFFs. He teaches MG a few things, but then especially during that the invasion on the school, MG, man, he teaches Caleb a few things. He teaches him how to be a better person. There's Jed, who's the alpha of the wolf pack at first, until Raph fucking pretty much has put up with all of his shit and then decides to whoop his ass in a challenge one-on-one. Because Raph, like, one of Raph's first days, the pack fucking beats him down because he just doesn't listen to the alpha. And as a pack, they just beat the shit out of him.
True story.
And then so he comes back once he realizes, oh, so I can just challenge Jed for alpha status just by challenging him, and then it's one-on-one. Yeah, I like those odds way better.
Well, no, I think what happened was he originally asked for a favor, asked for help,
mm-hmm.
and then Jed wouldn't budge. So then he was just like, well, all right.
Yeah.
If you don't want to budge on this,
But
you know, and then he's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to challenge you for alpha, and
Yep.
then I can make my own decision.
And then when he does that, he's like, and the whole pack can't fucking beat me down. Yeah, all right, let's do this. And then he whoops Jed's ass. And then there's Ryan, Ryan Clark. Yeah, he's the fucking creepy dude who works for Triad. He's the Golem brother. That ends up getting put back in the pit. And then there's some of the people, like guest stars. We get Matt, Sheriff Matt makes an appearance. We get Jeremy Gilbert from Vampire Diaries, which was Elena's brother, makes an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, or Josette Laughlin, which was Alaric's wife, and the twins' biological mother, makes an appearance as a weird zombie ghost, I think, thing. I don't know. And then we don't really see them in the show. We see a picture of the originals in Hope's room. And then we get mention of Hope's Aunt Freya. And then we get a scene where Hope is just hanging up a phone saying that she just got done talking to Freya. Those are pretty much all like the cameos, little name drops and stuff from the other shows. What was your question? You said you had a question once I was done talking about something.
Who was the character at the who had the character at the beginning of the show you didn't you liked or you hated at the beginning and liked him at the end?
A character that I hated at the beginning and liked at the end?
Yes.
There's probably two of them.
Take a pick.
I did not like Landon at the very beginning because I knew that he was going to be the Hope's romantic counterpart. I was like, ooh, competition. But no, Landon became a really fun character. I really enjoyed that character throughout the series. Probably Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb is mine, 100%.
Yeah. Because he kind of comes off. He comes off as like a really dickish vampire who's just kind of like hates following everybody and just does his own thing. And
then at the end, he's like MVP.
Yeah, at the end, yeah, dude, they have like the whole Avengers squad, like the superhero squad.
Caleb's my boy. I like Caleb.
Yeah, he really kind of pulls it together. Was there a character that you liked at the beginning and just kind of gradually disliked throughout the seasons? Or throughout the season?
I didn't dislike, but if I had to pick one off the top of my head, I would probably have to say Lizzie the most.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate Lizzie at the end. I just didn't like her nearly as much as I did at the beginning.
Yeah, I like the Lizzie Josie dynamic because it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really one of those things where it's like throughout the season you think Lizzie would fucking learn from some of this, but it just nothing seemed to get absorbed. Like she didn't
that's
learn
kind of
any
what it
fucking
was.
really lessons throughout this until the very, very end.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. There were no real lessons learned there, so it was just like, okay.
Like especially after that Genie episode. Or the Ginny.
Episode. And then nothing got better, Ginny.
Yeah, and then things got worse even a little bit. It's like, Lizzie, how are you fucking this dense? Like, really? But at the same time, keep in mind though too, they're portraying 16-year-old girls. You know, not fucking knocking 16-year-old girls, calling you all dumb or nothing. But I mean,
y'all dumb.
I didn't say it.
They're 16. They're not legal to me, so I don't care. I don't care about them.
Yeah. First off, for all you people saying, "Oh, Webby, you said this Hope chick's hot," you know, she's portraying a 17-year-old girl in this season.
She's 19 in real life.
She's 19 in real life. Yeah, I wanted to make that known. Okay. Goddamn fucking people.
coming after you, Webbs.
They really are. I was trying to look as I was watching all these episodes. I was trying to look to see, you know how some shows their episode title names are somehow connected to each other. Like I don't know if you realize, like I want to say it's Supernatural. All of their episode titles are essentially song titles.
Mm-hmm.
There's not any type of correlation. Like the episode, their Legacies is very upfront with their episode titles. It seems because a lot of them seems to be like just quotes that are in the episode. Like we're being punked, Pedro. That was, oh dude, I also liked Pedro a lot.
Oh, he was the little boy, right?
He was
like the
boy.
little like curly hair kid.
Yeah.
I liked him too. He was dope.
Yeah, and he didn't do much of anything. He had like one cool thing there during the invasion.
I like Pedro so much.
But
He's my boy.
I kept rooting for him, man.
Like, yeah, Pedro, you my boy. What's up? How you doing? Pedro? You my boy.
Yeah, so there were 16 episodes. The air date, they started in October 25th, 2018. So I'm guessing that's probably right around the time they'll pick back up, September, October. They ran until March 28th, 2019. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all the info that's on the wiki anyway. Demetrius, that's Dorian. Yeah, no, yeah, Devin, that's all I got. All in all, I think it was highly entertaining. Like, especially if you're going, okay, you don't have to watch the Vampire Diaries or the originals to enjoy Legacies. You'll understand a lot more of what's happening if you watch the previous two shows, because they do make a lot of references, and a lot of the characters you will say like Lizzie and and Joey, Jody or whatever, Josie. In the Vampire Diaries, you see them as babies and you see them as small children. Now, in Legacies, they're in their teens. So when you're watching this, you can say, oh, I remember back in Vampire Diaries when they did this. And you kind of get a better understanding of how their powers work and where they came from and what their coven was like. And kind of the same with Hope and her family by watching the originals. You kind of get the background story of Hope. So, I mean, I do highly recommend both the Vampire Diaries and the originals. And I remember saying this on the Vampire Diaries episode. But Devin, the Vampire Diaries was probably one of my guilty pleasures. Like, I scrolled through Netflix, I saw it, and I was like, this seems like a chick show.
The worst thing that happened to Vampire Diaries is it came out right around the time Twilight came out. I think it came out the year Twilight came out, or like the year after Twilight came out. That was the worst thing that could happen to Vampire Diaries.
Hey man, I've seen all the Twilight movies.
I know, but they're not good. Well, like, objectively speaking, they're not good movies. Like,
yeah. Some of the fight scenes are alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I saw the Vampire Diaries, and it sat on my to-watch list forever. And then finally I got really bored one day, and I was like, alright, nobody's fucking around. I'm just gonna watch the first episode. That if it's too chicky, I can just be like, nah, I haven't seen it. Then I got sucked in. First episode, right off the bat, I was like, alright, this isn't bad, I guess. And then fucking 3 shows later, Devin. God dang it.
It's like that sometimes, man.
I have had another show. I don't know if you've seen any of it. It has been recommended to me several times by Austin. This Teen Wolf.
I've seen it.
Yeah, is that any good?
It's good. I mean, it has its ups, it has its downs. It's not bad.
All right. if I liked these 3 shows, do you think I'll like Teen Wolf?
Yeah, you like Teen Wolf.
All right. I was hoping you'd say, "Nah, you'll think it's okay."
Team. I mean, it's a good show. It has its ups, it has its downs. It's not like an amazing show, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not. You're not going to hear me be upset at Teen Wolf. Like, it's not a bad show.
You hear that, Austin? Devin hates Teen Wolf.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, okay. All right, well, hey, that's our fucking episode, folks. We talked about Legacies.
We did, yeah.
And Hope Michelson's super hot. And yeah, MG's the man. Oh, dude, I did not see that Medusa thing happening either. Not at first.
Oh, that chick being Medusa, or her coming back at the end to save him?
Either. Both. I did not picture her being a Medusa, and then like her dreads turned into snakes.
And then I'm like, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, when they turned back into dreadlocks, I was like, oh, I get it. Oh, okay, yeah, all right. I did not like the spider episode. Mm-mm. I didn't like it. That's right around the time I was putting "fuck this show, fuck this episode," and you were just like, "What?" I was like, what did I put? I said, these better be killer clowns from outer space, and that better be cotton candy, because they were walking into a place full of cobwebs. And then you put a thumbs up, and I just kept putting ... Don't lie to me, Devin. ... Fuck this show. I'm turning it off. Yep, nightmare fuel, done now. And then I replied, love me some Dryad. You said, I thought you were turning it off. See, folks, I managed to push through an episode with a giant arachnid. That's how entertaining this show is. Okay. So, go watch the show. It's on Netflix. Just go watch it. It's one season with 16 episodes. And then I'd like to hear your opinions on all of it. Post it on our Facebook page or anywhere else that you can find us. Speaking of which, Devin, where can they find you on the internets?
You guys can find me on Twitter at DMP_Pookie and on Twitch at PookKilledMe and on eBay at Chapstick for Life.
Ooh, Chapstick for Life on eBay, huh?
Yup.
All right, and as always, guys, you guys can follow me on Twitter at JaxForestWalker, all one word, on Twitch at DMWebby. I will start streaming. Me and Devin, we're gonna start streaming again soon. We keep saying that, haven't done it yet. I understand. And you guys can always find me on eBay, still looking for Devin. He's been elusive. He changes his name every week. It's very hard to pin him down.
It is. I just have a constantly rotating name changer that's happening on eBay.
Especially in a world as big as eBay.
eBay's freaking huge, man.
We're gonna make a movie out of it. It's gonna be kind of like Wreck-It Ralph, but it's gonna be Webby Breaks eBay, looking for Devin.
I like it.
So, as always, everybody, thank you for listening. If you enjoy, give us, a review or rate us, or I don't know what people do on these things anymore. Get us to fucking Russia. Somebody has to know a listener in Russia. Just get them to download an episode. I don't care, as long as when I look on my little geographical map, Russia has a fucking thing in there. Make my day. Then I know the bears are listening, because they have bears in Russia that are just people friendly. Anyway, fuck Booster Gold, everybody. Yep. Fuck Booster Gold, Devin. We need to get to Russia. It's not through lack of trying. I'm going to start actually emailing Russian porn stars and saying, hey, can you just download this one podcast just so I can get the download in Russia? Thanks. Love you. Bye. Do you think that'll work?
Also, if you want to send nudes, I'm not going to complain. Bye.
Bye.